the mud out, and where we are, out this way over here. You got mud all the way up to the ceiling in there, and that's a lower floor. You step down right there. Well, first of all, our thoughts and prayers go out to all those families still searching for information about their loved ones and lost ones. And in this case, this is my parents' house. They're in their 80s. 11 o'clock at night, they started having the water rise and come into their house, so they were able to escape up the hill. And they got word of their neighbor being stuck in her attic, so they went over and rendered aid and got her out. She's 92 years old. Then they were able to reach their tool shed up higher ground, and neighbors throughout the early morning began to show up at their tool shed, and they all rode it out together. So.
Yeah, but where's that pile?
You'll see it on the washing machine, straight ahead.
Well, we've been trying to render assistance to our neighbors here and begin to pull out things as we can and salvage what we can, just a general cleanup effort. Everything is soaked. It weighs 5 times as much as it would normally. So it's a slow process.
Okay, how about this? This is probably trash and maybe resale shop. Okay.
So our neighbor, who's 92 years old, my parents pulled her out of the attic. She's never seen anything like it. So this is the highest anybody that we know has ever witnessed the water in this valley.
Trying to get to this car.
Oh man, we're gonna be on
Oh, that one. Yeah, grab and hold it up to the side of it. You don't want to get in it.
TFB 61.
Or something better than this.
Well, I mean, you got it directed like a.
I'm standing on the banks of the Guadalupe River in Hunt, Texas, the site of some of the worst damage to come from the floods that ripped through this area on July 4th. Behind me is Camp Mystic, a girls' camp that was devastated by a wall of water that came raging through here in the middle of the night. Dozens of young girls were swept away, many who are among the approaching 70 who have been killed in this, 21 confirmed children who have died. Out here today, what we see are families returning to this spot to look through the camp, look through the dorms, look through the cabins where their children were. They're walking through and examining piles of debris, from soaked mattresses to personal trunks. They're opening them and looking through for any kind of personal belongings that they can find. The waters are calm now, but just about a couple hundred yards away from where those families are, search and rescue efforts continue as DPS troopers continue to look through on the riverbank and under collapsed trees and uprooted trees to see what they still might find. Also today we've seen other families come out to help in that rescue or search effort. walking riverbanks, doing whatever they can to try to help those families who are still searching for answers of maybe where their children are. One of the things that you can see out here is just how high the raging waters got. There's debris dozens of feet up in the air, and the trees that are somehow still standing. You can see huge trees that have been ripped up by the roots. Others are still here, but the debris pile, the water just carried it extraordinarily high. There's no way to reach it. It just gives you a real sense of the impact and the power of the water that just rammed through this area in the middle of the night in a pitch black storm.
If you had seen what July 3rd looked like, you will never guess that this was coming that night. I even, at my restaurant, I had a band playing. I even had them played outside because there was no rain coming. So everybody had a wonderful time. A lot of my customers that were here July 3rd are missing. So I just don't know, but and hearing the screams, because you couldn't see anything, it was pitch black, but hearing people screams, kids screaming, asking for help, cars were floating away with the lights on. You could see the lights and you can hear honking. And there was like not one or two, but there were dozens of vehicles just floating away. And I was just, it was just too much. Actually, he was the last one out of the restaurant. We finished cleaning, and 1 o'clock in the morning, he went home because it started to rain really hard. And he got, after his house started flooding eventually, and to get his family out, he broke a window and he cut an artery on his arm really hard, deep, and he got his family to safety. He did. He got his babies out, 3 beautiful little kids, and but he bled to death. And we do have a GoFundMe for him and his family. So if you don't mind sharing that with the world, that's our main concern, obviously. This was paradise. My husband and I, 4 years ago, were so lucky to buy a little piece of paradise. You know, this was crystal clear waters, perfect fishing, kayaking, the swimming. It was amazing. This is Kerrville. Kerrville is all about the river. This is what we do. I mean, Hunt, Ingram, Kerrville, Comfort, Center Point. We all live along the river edge. So we all love this river. What now? You know, what am I gonna do now? I don't know. I lost my only revenue, source of income, and I have bills to pay. I have mortgages. I have employees they need a paycheck. They need to work to get a paycheck. I mean, this is so incredible, horrible as a community, and we're small towns here. We're not a big city, none of that, and it's just everybody is affected by it. Every single person is affected by it.
Our hearts are hurting for those who have lost their lives, their families, and all for those who are still missing. And we had a service of prayer and song, remembering that God is always with us, and that presence and that love of God cannot be compromised by any circumstance that we encounter. And then to remember that not only is God with us always in every moment, but that God knows us and loves us and calls us to respond in ways that will help the people who are grieving, the people who are waiting, the people who are hoping for news of their loved ones.
Very brief update on the current status of operations since the last time we spoke. Speaking order is going to be...
Okay, once again, Larry Leitha, Kerr County Sheriff. Before I get in my notes, I want to address a couple of things. Obviously, there's been some alerts going on the phone. We are checking. We have checked one. We're in the process of checking the other one. What we know on the flood warning on 1340, FM 1340, that is inaccurate. There is no water coming down 1340. We have confirmed that. On Johnson Creek, there is a rise there. That rise could put 1 to 2 feet into the Guadalupe River. We will be staying on top of that. Search and rescue operations continue with a full response from local, state, and national first responders. We continue to have hundreds of officers, deputies, and to support our staff working every aspect of this emergency, along with air, water, canine, and other assets, conducting search and rescue. As of 1:30, we have recorded 68 deceased in Kerr County. Among those who are deceased, we have 40 adults and 28 children. 18 adults are pending identification, and 10 children are also pending identification. Once again, pending identification are 18 adults and 10 children. At present, there are 10 Camp Mystic campers unaccounted for and 1 counselor. We continue to offer our condolences to those affected, and we will work tirelessly till we reunite them with their families.
She stepped up for a story, but we talked to several people in this community who say they got no emergency alerts whatsoever. Governor Abbott, in his press release, just placed the responsibility onto local agencies. So I know you're focusing on victims right now, but yes or no, did local agencies send out any emergency alerts, flares, sirens of any kind?
No, I know you guys keep asking this question. We appreciate it. We think it's important. We don't want to speculate. At this time, we know there's a lot of speculation and question around it. Again, there's going to be a full review, of this, so we can make sure that we focus on future preparedness. We want to continue to focus on the families at this time, and so we're getting through that. So thank you.